Welcome back to PNP Kids. I'm Kriya Destiny of Ascetic Life of Motherhood, and today we're going to be talking about a special saint, but I want to introduce you to a neat feast day tradition that you might try in honor of St. Peter the Aleut. So I hope you stay tuned. Today, we are celebrating the feast of St. Peter the Aleut. Do you know much about him? Have you ever heard his name? Well, if you haven't, this saint is actually my godson's saint. And so I first learned about him a few years ago when I sponsored my godson, Peter. And so he was a young man who was from Alaska. He was actually born in Kodiak, and he went down to California to do some hunting. He was a very skilled hunter. And while he was there, he was captured by the Franciscans who were running a mission down there. And they told these young men, these Aleuts, that you must convert or else we will kill you. And St. Peter, he was an Orthodox Christian, and he said, I'm a Christian. They said, no, you have to believe in our faith, our version. And so they were Catholic Franciscan monks, and they were very bad men. These monks were not good monks at all. And so they threatened to torture them. St. Peter was very bold and brave, and he said, I will never give up my Orthodox faith. And so he was tortured until eventually he was killed. And the young men who were with him were witness to this. The next day, they were able to escape, and they went all the way back up to Alaska. So from California all the way to Alaska. And they told the story of the young man who was tortured and eventually killed for his faith. And they went to Herman of Alaska. You probably have heard of him before. And St. Herman said, who was this young man who was tortured? And the men with him said, I don't know his family name, but his name is Peter. And so St. Herman said, oh, holy Saint Martyr Peter, pray for us. That's the story of St. Peter the Aleut. His bravery and his firmness of the faith, he would never give up his Orthodox faith. And I love the boldness that St. Peter has. So, since we've learned a little bit about St. Peter the Aleut, do you want to do a little activity today? We can learn how to make a special Alaskan dish. It might seem a little strange, it was to me, but today we're gonna make it for the first time with you. So I've never made it before, but it's very simple. You and your parents can do it together, and let's see how it tastes. All right, let's get started. So here's what we're gonna need in order to make a-goo-duck, or Eskimo ice cream. Traditionally, it's made in a wooden bowl. If you don't have that, that's okay, a regular bowl will do. You're gonna need animal fat of some sort, whichever you choose is fine. You're gonna need some sugar, about a cup of sugar, and some frozen berries. Blueberry is what we're gonna use because that's actually a berry they would have in Alaska. So that's what you're gonna need, those few ingredients. Now, you can find different recipes online for how to make a a-goo-duck, but really every family has their own recipe that gets passed down. And so there's not really one recipe to use. It all takes on its own form. So I'm using a family recipe I found online, but we're gonna make adjustments as we need to. Now, traditional dish, there wouldn't have been sugar. They would have used roots and things like that. But we're gonna sweeten ours up and make it with sugar. Now, the way that we start making this is we're going to put the lard or the fat in the bowl, and we're gonna start to stir it up. So the first thing we have to do is we need to wash our hands, get them nice and clean, because you're gonna be using those to make this dish. So let's take a break and wash our hands. All right, your hands all clean? Okay, good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a traditional animal lard. So the recipe says 2 scoops, okay? So we're gonna do 2 scoops of animal lard. Remember, it's not a precise recipe. Okay, got it? All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our fingers. We're gonna use our fingers to mix, okay? We're gonna mix it like this in a bowl. This is how they traditionally would have made it. And we're gonna do this for 5 minutes, okay? So we're gonna make sure it's nice and whipped. The heat of your fingers are actually melting the fat a little bit. So my kids are all gonna take a turn and mix it. Go ahead and mix it.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
You're a bit early.
Now you're seeing it's starting to have a creamy texture to it now.
I wish I could eat that.
You will. As soon as we mix it in with
Oh,
some.
no.
Whoops. Good job.
How long will this take?
5 minutes. So this is actually a dish, a dessert that St. Peter would have made. Did you know that? Or his mom would have made for him. So I thought that would be kind of special to do that today for his feast day.
It's his feast day. And it's my godbrother's nickname.
That's right, because he's named after St. Peter. So now we can make this every year and think of them.
And maybe we can send some of it to him.
Oh. Wow, that's looking really good.
If we send some of it to him, then he will like it and he'll say it. And then we'll give him a card that says Happy Name Day.
Do you know what this is called? A-goo-duck.
A-goo-duck.
Can you say that?
A-goo-duck.
A-goo-duck.
It sounds like it has duck in it.
I know.
A-goo-duck.
A-goo-duck.
Is this duck?
All right, so next, after you've whipped it for about 5 minutes, yep, let's take it all off your hands. Wipe it off in there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add our sugar, okay? Go ahead and pour it in. It's a lot of sugar. And so now we're gonna go back to using our hands again, and we're gonna just incorporate that all together. Just mix that all in. Ooh.
That feels weird.
That feels good?
Yeah, weird.
How's it looking?
Good. It feels so good. I wish I could just lick my fingers.
You will after you're done. Now, what does it look like to you?
Mashed potatoes.
I was thinking ice cream, but yeah.
It does look like mashed potatoes. Are you making ice cream?
You're making Eskimo ice cream.
Do we put it in a cone?
No.
One cone.
All right, keep mixing it up. Yeah, good
What
job.
speed?
5.
Squish, squish, squish. After I grab a lot and I said I squish it.
Feels cool. So the fat will start to melt a little bit. If you're using Crisco, it'll have a similar texture to it. So we think this looks a little bit like mashed potatoes right now. So that's kind of the consistency, okay?
We need it to look like that.
Now the last part is we're gonna add some blueberries. I don't think we probably want to add all of it. Let's see. That's about 2 cups of blueberries. So let's try to add half of this in. Here, let's put all of that. Okay, let's get all of that. Let's pour our blueberries in. About half of it.
That much?
Yep. And now let's mix those in.
Use our hand.
You can use your hands, it'll be a little cold, but go ahead. Oh, that looks
Cold. Good, good, good. Go.
You're making your dessert.
Can I also make the
Everybody's gonna get a chance to stir it now, okay? This is going to be really, really rich. We're only going to do a little bit, so we're just going to have a small bowl. We've got a little bit of a-goo-duck. Do you want to try it? Try it right here. Let's see how it tastes. All right, it's very cold.
I like the blueberry smells.
Now this is something that St. Peter the Aleut would have eaten. We've got our a-goo-duck, and our hands are the things that mixed and warmed the fat. We added the sugar, we incorporated that, we added the frozen berries, and now I can see why they call this Eskimo ice cream, because it's cold, and it's fatty, and it's creamy, and it's full of a lot of healthy things so that, well, besides the sugar, again, traditionally wouldn't. Can I tell you something really interesting? They actually used to make this with fish. Isn't that interesting? So they would actually mix the fat with salmon or whatever they had available, and then add berries to it. So it was kind of a savory dessert. But we did not make ours with fish. No fish ice cream for us today. But I hope you give this a try. Happy Feast of St. Peter the Aleut. And if you get a chance to, go to Patristic Nectar Kids and have your parents subscribe so you can see more videos and more feast day content from us in the future. Thanks for watching.